All right, we're back with part 2 of the Rebel BET pilot review recap. So we were in the police station, and Mac's brother Jimmy has confronted Rebel after she was confronted by Officer Cruz. He's calling her a traitor or all kinds of black bitches and all kinds of mess. And then Officer Friendly Giancarlo Esposito, Officer Chucky Charles, says, traitor to who? And then she runs into Mac, and Mac ends up saying, I know it's hard to apologize. And she like, apologize to who? For what? And he's like, I did something wrong. I know I did something wrong. I feel bad, but I'm not the only one with blood on my hands. Okay, so then in the next scene, we see the brothers Jimmy and Mac at a bar. Mac is feeling guilty. He's I don't know why I shot him. He was a good kid. And his brother Jimmy, don't say that. Shut up. Stop saying that. I don't know what Shanae done put on you. I know how women are, but this Shanae got something on you or whatever. So they end up getting into an argument, and they leave the bar. And then we see Rebel confront somebody. His name is Brim or Bram. I couldn't quite catch it, but he's one of the people in the neighborhood that her brother had been hanging out with when she had started making plans to meet up with the guy called Texas. And so she like, anybody who know anything, anybody who had anything to do with it, I'm after your ass, and I'm a good shot. I don't miss. So it's gonna be hell to pay when I find out, if I find out you had anything to do with my brother's death. So we next see her in her place, and I guess she lives with her father. I keep thinking she has an apartment, but we see her in her room, her place. She's reviewing files of officers involved with Malik's shooting, and she also gets her first private investigation case. A friend or somebody that she knew in high school, a cheerleader who had called her 3 times and been texting her and she hadn't responded, just shows up at her door and is like, I need help. I feel like my husband is trying to kill me. They go by her house. This lady's name is Dolores, and she calls her a Becky, although her name, Rebel's name, is Rebecca. She's a Becky, but she ain't that kind of Becky. But they go to Dolores's house, and Dolores shows her a gun that she says that her husband has gotten. Rebel ends up connecting with Chyna, who, I don't know if she works for the police station or not, but she has free time at work, and she also has access to information and wants to be helpful, to Rebel in her investigation, or to Rebel in whatever. So she has Chyna checking out not just Dolores' husband, but Dolores as well, because something with Dolores' story doesn't seem right. We see Chyna and Rebel back at the dad's house, and Rebecca is cooking, or Rebel is cooking, and they there's a scene where they pour libations to Malik. Yay, black people traditions. Chyna ends up spending the night with Rebel. The press is real thick outside when they leave in the morning. And we get to see Rebel be a superwoman. She speeds out of there in reverse, and excellent driving skills. That's one of the requirements for being a superhero on the movies and the TV. And she's observing Dolores' husband, and sees that he's leaving home way earlier than he needs to leave in order to get to work at the time that he normally gets to work. So she knows something is going on with that. And he's visiting an Asian woman and a baby. She goes to see Officer Friendly, Officer Chucky Charles, in his cubicle, and she sees Dolores, somewhere along the way, I can't remember where, but she saw Dolores getting into a car with a man. His name is Ahmed. We find out when she has Officer Friendly run the plates, and she also has Officer Friendly see who the gun is registered to, and it's registered to William Earhart. So I guess that's Bill, because I think that's Dolores' husband is Bill, so I guess it is registered to her husband. And then they have a fake argument. She's like, yell at me, and they all in his kiss. He don't have an office, he's in a cubicle, but they're talking all quiet and kind of looking away like they're not talking to each other. But it's like, obviously they're in there together. I don't know who they think they're fooling, but then they have an argument. Get out of here, you're more trouble than you're worth. Forget you, Chucky. And she leaves. Okay, so TJ has the keys to Rebel's place. Oh yeah, so what's up? Where is she staying? Because TJ shows up at her place. When she comes home, he's there. There's a sex scene between them. She talks with him about the freedom of doing this private investigation work and how she likes it, and when things settle down she might want to pursue it. It's great money. He says that he moved to Oakland to be with her, so he's thinking about going back east. She asked him if she's going, the other woman, the ex. And so that's that. There was a scene earlier where Mac, who was her partner, we found out that they had a sexual relationship. They had it had been a while ago, 2 or 3 months ago, and it had been for a short time, and it ends up being 1 or 2 times. But he's like, well, who are you dealing with? How are you taking care of yourself? How are you getting your itches scratched? So we see how she getting her itches scratched. They still dealing with each other. Then it's like a scene, I don't know if they're supposed to be in Chinatown or what, but it seemed like it's like a Chinese New Year type scene, and there are paper dragons and all kinds of stuff like that. And we see a lovey-dovey couple, Dolores and her husband, Bill, and Rebel and Chyna are following them. Then Rebel approaches her, Dolores, and pretends to be distraught. The husband, Bill, walks off to get some coffee or something. Rebel is like, what's up, Dolores? You're not scared of him. You're a happy couple. And, then the husband comes back, so they can't really talk. The husband and the wife, Dolores and Bill, go in 2 separate directions. Chyna follows the husband. Rebel follows Dolores. And they kind of, Chyna and Rebel are talking. Oh, ain't nothing going on here. Yeah, I'm just following the cheerleader. Ain't nothing going on here. And then all of a sudden Chyna is like, you gotta come here, because Ahmed shows up at the door. He pulls out his knife and he stabs Bill, pushes him in the house and stabs him. Chyna can't see all of that, but we can, because we're seeing it from the camera view. And cameras can go anywhere they want to go, basically. So Rebel rushes over when she tells Chyna to call the cops. So when Rebel gets there, there are a couple cops there, and Rebel just walk all over them. Move out the way. Stay by the door. Don't mess up the crime scene. And she's in, full-on detective mode. By the time Giancarlo Chuck arrives, he sends her away. She shows up at Dolores' mom's house. Rebel shows up at Dolores' mom's house, which is where Dolores has gone to hide out. She's she's kind of trying to get some information, and Dolores is like, I'm finished, I don't need you anymore. We find out that Rebel's dad and Officer Chuck know each other. I don't know if they have a previous relationship before Rebel joined the force, but the department, he's basically coming to say that if Rebel will drop her case against the department will let her back in and undrop her suspension. Rebel rolls up on Ahmed in a warehouse. When she went to Dolores' house, she found out where to find Ahmed, so she rolls up on him in a warehouse. It's him and a guy or a couple guys. Rebel ends up getting knocked out. She confronts him, she gets knocked out. Then the next time she wakes up, she's tied up to a pipe, then they in another room talking. She ends up getting free. She fights all the men off. One of them gets away, the other 2 are there. She calls the cops. By the time the cops get downstairs, the people have left, but she's observed that they have a terroristic plot going on, because they have fertilizer, and I don't know what the other evidence is that she has seen, but when the cops get there, all of that evidence is gone. And they're like, oh, sure, the evidence is here. All the cops are like, she's like, some of y'all know me. Those of you who know me know that, I'm a good cop, and, and that, anyway, she goes through this whole thing, and she decides that she announces then that she is not going to be a cop anymore. She says, this is a job. We're not family, and I don't want to be a part of this job anymore. So, Rebel shows up at Dolores' job. Oh, that's when she gets the information about the Ukrainian restaurant. Oh, the Russian-Ukrainian restaurant where, from Dolores at her job, where Ahmed is. She shows up there with a big gun and high heels and struts in, and, people run out of the restaurant. And then we have a scene with Chyna and Rebel, as Rebel is clearing out clothes that she doesn't need. We see her reading poetry, and then we see her being followed as she leaves the poetry set, and she turns around, why are you following me? And they take the hood off, and she's like, Hector. He's like, you wanted to know about Texas. Texas is the guy that her brother was dealing with before he got killed, and that's where it ends. So that's it. Did you see it? Did you like it? Or you think you're going to watch the rest of the season? All right. Thanks for watching, commenting, and subscribing. Again, I'm Angela. The channel is Be Fabulous You. And remember, Fabulous One, be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. Mwah.